Okay, may I interject something here? I don't know.
Yes.
I know you recommended Brassfield, and this is my mindset on this because I got to, Brett. I know that the Commonwealth has circled, not is circling the wagons. They have circled the wagons on this case. Whoever is intricately involved, they're watching each other's back at this point because it's yeah, it's going to come out eventually. I don't know the time frame or anything like that, but
Absolutely.
in my mind, I'm wondering if we need to get someone not in the Commonwealth to represent this case because, totally honest, I'm not trusting those attorneys in that area. I personally went in and sat down, and I'm not going to drag Erin through the mud. I talked to her that last day in that courtroom. Erin was nervous about something. Her total mannerism had changed. And it was like, I'm throwing my hands up because what should have happened, and I'm not an attorney, what should have happened is that date should have been changed. Nothing should have changed about Ramon's visitation on that day.
Mom, we've already established that what's going on right
Okay,
now is to keep those kids quiet.
hold
So
on.
I think
Hold,
Brett knows it. So
okay,
we don't got. I
my
got
point
you.
is
Yeah,
this. Can we get another
and I understand a
attorney?
little bit about what happened at that past hearing. I haven't talked with Aaron about it directly. Um, you know, it's just not something that I wanted to bring up with her because
That's fine.
Ramon asked me
That's
not to
fine.
basically stop communication with her.
That's fine.
And
I
try to
just
keep
want to get
his,
another
basically
attorney.
my advice for him in the case separate from her.
Can we get
Um,
someone outside? Can you recommend somebody outside of the Commonwealth, outside of that wagon, that circle?
well, yeah, let me make sure we're talking about the same thing. Though, when you say outside the Commonwealth, do you mean an attorney who is not barred in Virginia? Because that would not help.
No,
And
barred
let me
in
explain why.
Virginia, someone who's barred in Virginia but hungry for a win.
Right. Yeah. Outside the Prince William, that sort of courthouse and that culture and those connections where they may
Yes.
feel that they don't want to rock the boat and worry about that. Yeah, I agree. I think what we want is we want a person who can practice. We want someone who is in Northern Virginia, can go to Prince William, but is not part of that courtwith culture.
That's exactly.
And that was
She told us initially that she worked. When she told us that she worked with Morehouse, we weren't like like saying like, oh, you know what, she knows her, but it's deeper than that, and
Yeah.
we understand that now. We understand that things have to be done, hands have to be shaken in order for longer deals to be made. So we didn't understand that at first, Brett, but I guarantee you we understand how it works
right.
now.
But you want someone who will fight for you and represent you and fight for the kids.
Yes.
And not just be concerned about kissing her ass and kissing her husband's ass. And if they were both trying to, work the network in Prince William, maybe end up on the bench there one day or charge the bar association, whatever it is, whatever the end goal is.
That's exactly what you just said.
Okay.
It's exactly what's being made. That's exactly what it's all about.
Right, and that's again why I wanted to recommend some other practitioners who again aren't in that Prince William, basically courthouse community, but could still go there, could be effective, could be fighters. And one of the reasons, Ben would not be my only recommendation. One of the reasons I specifically recommended Ben is because Ben has a history as a prosecutor of fighting for kids and fighting for kids who are being harmed and are in harm's way, and he takes those cases seriously. And that's why I think he'd be potentially a good fit as someone to see, hey, is this a person who we would want to work with? And if so, I think he's got some experience and credentials that he could really lend a service to the situation. Now, part of what I was, thinking about in terms of what we wanted to do, we may be at a stage where we can do something immediately. We may be at a stage where we need some developments to happen. But the important thing is we want to be trying to do what we can to make sure that the kids are protected and we're in a position to act, especially if something should go wrong. And one of the things I wanted to talk about was sort of figuring out with where things are currently with you not having contact with them. How can we at least give them some opportunities to express themselves so they can have safety, especially knowing that being in a house with Cara and Sabrina, they're not safe. Does that make sense? And
Yes.
what we can do to basically advocate for them, put a safety plan for placing them, even if they can't come to you directly, to have that safety for them there that they can access and feel comfortable doing. I have some thoughts about that, but I don't, I think we want to work with an attorney to figure out what, in the context of the custody and visitation, we can do to create those avenues for them, because we know Morehouse is not going to protect those kids. We know Sabrina is not going to protect the kids. Like, that's what we know.
Okay, whatever we're going to do, we need to move. And the reason I'm saying that is because Ramon is due back in court February 14th, 15th, somewhere in that area. So we've got to have...
he needs representation, and he needs it soon.
Yes.